Hi, let's take a look at a G.I. Joe art book, and we'll take a look at the 1986 stuff. 1986 was entering a golden age for the G.I. Joe Real American Hero toy line from Hasbro, which of course was a reboot of their popular toy line of the 1960s and early 70s. This will go through the action figures, vehicles, and play sets of G.I. Joe in 1986. Right here is the Battle Android Trooper, the Bat, which was prominent in the season 2 of the Sunbow cartoon. You could see there's a lenticular chest there that showed some gears and stuff for the Bat. This was a cool figure, and it came with a backpack that you could put other different add-ons to the character. Here we have Beachhead and Dial-Tone. Most of these figures were designed by Ron Rudat in Hasbro, and I think that they named Dial-Tone after Ron Rudat. I think that was the character, his real name. Beachhead was a cool character introduced in season 2 of the cartoon. Dr. Mindbender, taking the place in the comics of Dr. Viper, I think his name was. There's a mad scientist character in the comics that never made it to figures, and I think Hasbro just made up this guy who's a lot more cartoony. He's like a topless dude with these metal straps and everything. Very, very toy figure-ish. To the right is Hawk. And to the left here is Iceberg. I had Iceberg, pretty cool. He was the second Arctic figure they made. And to the right here is Leatherneck, who's a Marine. To the left here is Lifeline. He was a pacifist in the cartoon, but the character looks awesome. Like, what a well-designed character. Great, striking color scheme. Came with a lot of cool accessories. To the right is Lowlight, the Night Spotter. There was another version of him that featured heavily in the Deke cartoon that came a couple years after the Sunbow cartoon. And to the left here we have Roadblock, version 2, I think. This was the version that a lot of people had because I guess it was just more prominent at the time, after the first version of the figure from an earlier wave. To the right is Sci-Fi, who's a laser trooper. In the cartoon, of course, everyone shot lasers after the first miniseries due to some parent complaints about all the characters shooting bullets and missiles and stuff. And so everyone was shooting lasers in the cartoon. Here, it's weird that this character, his very gimmick is that he has a laser, but this is the toys where everyone had bullets and missiles as part of the toy play fun. And to the left here is Xandar, to the right is Zorana. Zorana had 2 versions of her head. I remember there's one with like prominent earrings. These characters were the brother and sister of Zartan, so expanding that whole Zartan Dreadnought line. So here's the Serpentor Cobra Emperor with Air Chariot. Pretty cool. The Air Chariot was pretty neat. Didn't look as cool as this drawing, but the art, of course, on these is exquisite with that red, orange, or red, yellow, and white camo sort of background, and the painted art of a character in action on some vehicle that looks very, very toy accurate. Really, really cool stuff. And down here is the Cobra Hydro Sled. And here's the Cobra Stun, which was featured heavily in Season 2 of G.I. Joe. And here's a stun pilot, like a Stun Viper. Cobra Night Raven, S3P. This was an incredible vehicle. It's pretty big, and it looks cool, looks sleek. Has a cool way to load the characters into the cockpit. You see there's an elevator goes up into the plane, and of course it has a smaller plane that can lift off from the this plane itself. I remember as a kid reading somewhere that a lot of this stuff was was inspired by designs that the Army had that didn't work out but were pretty neat and good enough for a toy line like this. Here's the Cobra Terradrome with Firebat. So the Firebat came out of the middle of the thing. Here you see all these characters shooting like just whatever. I mean, I think there's a Viper shooting at one of the twins here. And you see, I think it's like one of the Dreadnoughts shooting the twins as well. But yeah, this is pretty cool stuff. The actual playset itself was like furniture. It's rather massive. You could see it at toy shows. Dreadnought Air Assault, and this was a Sears exclusive, I think. And here's the Dreadnought Ground Assault. It's their own Jeep, which looks a lot like the old G.I. Joe Jeep. And here you have like a bike that comes with it as well. Here's the Dreadnought Swamp Fire. Yeah, a lot like these. The Sears stuff didn't look like it came with figures. Most of these vehicles did, which is pretty cool value. This thing, some parts change color when exposed to sunlight, just like the original Zartan figure. And here's the Thunder Machine, another favorite of mine from the G.I. Joe line. It's a mishmash of different car parts put together to form this vehicle. It's pretty cool stuff. You could fit a lot of figures on this. There's a lot of foot pegs. And you see in the art, they build the foot pegs into the art. It's pretty fun. Here's the G.I. Joe Devilfish. And the Recon sled, I had this. It never came with a figure. It was just a smaller price point thing you can put your figures in. The Havoc was featured heavily in G.I. Joe the movie. I always thought it was awkward how the drivers have to lay down and look up. It must be very, very uncomfortable. It's a fun design. It's just weird. Here's the hover sled that Lifeline is piloting here. In the movie, Roadblock is piloting it without any hands, so I don't know how it reads his thoughts as to where to go. Here's the Tomahawk, featured heavily in G.I. Joe the movie. And here are the lower price point items. Cobra Surveillance Port, Outpost Defender, Laser Artillery Weapon, Battle Station. And here's a cover for G.I. Joe magazine. I never saw this magazine around. Gorgeous painted art. Gorgeous. If I saw this magazine, I would have snapped it up back in the day. Here are the Find Your Fate books for G.I. Joe. This was their version of the Choose Your Own Adventure books. And you'll see some familiar names here. So Operation Deathstone by Barbara and Scott Siegel. Everglades Swamp Terror. The Everglades Swamp Terror by Eric Affaby, and Operation Deadly Decoy by R.L. Stine. He was writing kids' books way back in the day, and I think he wrote some Choose Your Own Adventures as well before Goosebumps. And here you have Operation Deathstone, and all of these are Ballantine books. And here's Operation Deathray and Operation Night Flight. Fantastic, gorgeous art on all of these. They did this kind of thing with the Masters of the Universe as well, where there were some kids' books with like gorgeous painted art. Operation Jungle Doom, Operation Weapons Disaster, Operation Snow Job. And here are some inserts for some of the vehicles and playsets of the time in 1986. This is an offer that features something like 12 figures or something. And, you know, Hasbro seemed to do this with Transformers and G.I. Joe. They would have these inserts in some of their toys for offers for what appeared to be probably backstock of older stuff they had. And they would create a story around them and say, and now you can live this adventure and, you know, and get a bunch of this stuff for a deal. Here's a Cobra Enemy deal of some sort. There's a whole write-up by Cobra here trying to recruit you. Here are some vehicles I guess you can get. Great art here. This is fantastic stuff. You got the Night Attack 4-wheel drive Stinger, the Hiss, classic Hiss, Water Moccasin, Fang, and the Asp. And here is a great insert. Live the Adventure, Assignment 1, Invade Cobra Island. So here's a whole map of Cobra Island with some points of interest here. The Weapons Manufacturing Cave, the Poisonous Jungle Hideaway, Subterranean River Power Station, Volcanic Missile Launching Station, Mountain Cliff Gun Defense System, and Communication Station. Fantastic stuff. And here's a Presto Magics for the Cobra Island. So Presto Magics looks like a version of the color forms of the 1970s. You get these things that they're not necessarily stickers, but you could stick onto these backdrops to make your own little adventure. And that's it for 1986 for G.I. Joe Real American Hero. I hope you liked going through this with me. And if you like what you see, please give a like to this video. And please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Lots of cool pop culture stuff on here, especially nostalgia from the 80s. So until next time, take care.